It's time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson, sponsored by Washita Valley Respiratory Care and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. When Elvis Presley died more than 40 years ago, the whole world was in shock. Since then, dozens of Elvis tribute artists and or impersonators have honored his legacy. One of those acts, Jimmy Ellis, used the stage name Orion. His voice was similar to Presley's, a fact which he and his record company played upon, making some believe that some of his recordings were by Presley, or even that Presley had not died in 1977. He was born James Hughes Bell on February 26, 1945. His birthplace is still under dispute. Some sources say Pascagoula, Mississippi, while others say it was either Orville, Alabama, or Washington, D.C. His birth certificate states the mother was a secretary named Gladys Bell, and the father was Vernon. No surname. Yep, the four names of Elvis's parents. At the age of 2, he moved with his mother to Birmingham, Alabama, where he was put up for adoption. At age 4, he was adopted by R.F. and Mary Faye Ellis. He was a standout athlete in high school and later entered Middle Georgia College on athletic scholarship, then transferred to Livingston State University. After winning a state fair competition, Ellis began performing in nightclubs. In 1964, he released a single, Don't Count Your Chickens, for a small Georgia label, Dradco. His vocals so resembled Elvis Presley's that in 1969, Shelby Singleton, who had just taken over Sun Records from Sam Phillips, released a single of Ellis's recordings of Presley's early songs, That's All Right Mama and Blue Moon of Kentucky. The label credited the recordings simply to just a question mark, and it was rumored that they were alternate takes from Presley sessions, despite featuring an electric rather than string bass. After Elvis's death in 1977, Singleton revived the hoax by releasing singles which overdubbed Ellis's voice onto known Sun recordings by Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, and others. TV's Good Morning America undertook a voice comparison test of the song against Presley's voice. Around the same time, Ellis released another single under his own name, I'm Not Trying to Be Like Elvis, and an album, By Request, Ellis Sings Elvis. In 1978, writer Gail Brewer Giorgio published a novel, Orion, about a leading popular singer, clearly based on Elvis, who faked his own death. Singleton then persuaded Ellis to start appearing as Orion, wearing a small mask with dyed hair and in clothing similar to those worn by Presley. His album, Reborn, showing him emerging from a coffin, was released later in 1978. Some listeners clearly believed that Orion was in fact Elvis Presley, who had supposedly faked his own death. Orion, that's Jimmy Ellis, then had several hits on the country charts, including Am I That Easy to Forget and Rockabilly Rebel. He built up a substantial live following, still wearing his mask, which he tore off during a performance in 1983, saying that he would not wear it again. However, after failing to retain his popularity using his real name, he returned to performing as Orion in 1987. He also opened a pawn shop in Selma, Alabama, with his girlfriend Elaine Thompson, who later became his wife. On December 12, 1998, Ellis was murdered during a robbery in a store. Jeffrey Lee was convicted of the murder of Jimmy Ellis and Elaine Thompson, who was by now his ex-wife and working as an employee of the store, and the attempted murder of employee Helen King. Lee was given a death sentence. In 2015, filmmaker Jeannie Findlay released a documentary called Orion, the Man Who Would Be King. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me every Monday through Friday morning for Trivia Tracks on Fox Sports Camden 97.1.